Spider Noir is a must watch. It definitely is a must watch. You know, when I was watching and finishing it, I was talking to my sister like, yo, this is the very first live action Spider Man TV show. We never had a live action Spider Man TV show here in America. Japan had one before we did. Think about everything. Japan had theirs, and he even had his own Sentai like style. Even had a robot he could summon and everything. And it went on for a good while, a really good while. But over here in the States, where Spider-Man originally came from, we never had our own live action Spider-Man series. Ever. And that's a shock. That really is a shock to me. So now that we have one, it's not about the original Spider-Man. It's Spider Noir. And it's Nicolas Cage. He was voice acting in the movies of Spider-Verse as Spider Noir. Now he's acting it himself. For a man to stay dedicated to a role like this shows how much he does care about it. He cares so much about that he even asked Charlie Sheen behind the scenes on what he should do to act as the character in live action. Especially when it comes to the parts where he would mumble. He asked Charlie Sheen what to do where the cast don't want him to mumble too much. But Charlie Sheen says you do what you need to do in order for you to create your own version of Spider Noir as the Spider. Which makes more sense, because back in the day where things were finally being created and being frontier, as many people call it the Golden Age, that's when you had things just being called simple things. The brand itself was just simple for what it was. No unique name or anything like that. It was just the Spider, the Conductor, stuff like that. Nothing that was interesting like it is today, where you have to come up with an interesting name to separate yourself from the others. Back in the day, you were the first. So you didn't need much creativity on the name line. So, this one is about a washed out Spider-Man. A very washed out Spider-Man. This one, where he isn't as smart as Peter Parker. You can tell he's not Peter Parker. He is Ben. Ben is a war veteran. A dude who has a keen sense, but not in a scientific kind of way, but more when it comes to picking up on clues, reading people, and stuff like that. He's a smoker. He's an alcoholic. He isn't that very responsible as a man who went through so much. He went through World War II, and then he's coming back home where he became the Spider. And then he's fighting crime, loses the love of his life. He quits, and now he has to be back in on the line again after wanting to call it quits so many times. And it shows, he's not as athletic, he's not as strong or sharp-sensed or anything else like the other Spider-Man we're used to seeing. He doesn't have all the cool gadgets and tools. This is a Spider-Man who's on the verge, who doesn't feel like he should do much anymore. He's not seeing him crawling too many walls or doing so many athletic abilities because he's washed out. He is old. He's probably in his 50s or mid 40s. But he is tired. Poor Nick Cage. And it shows as it's drinking, has some groaning, moaning, complaining, and stuff. He'll be having his PTSD flashbacks of the war and what he saw that day during the camp. But out of nowhere, groups of people start showing up with powers and are terrorizing the city. And it's up to Ben and his gang to find out what's happening to these people. Why are they showing up out of nowhere? And what does it have to do with the connection to Ben in his past during his good old war days? And that's where all this comes along. The story is a slow burn. To me, I feel like almost every episode was needed and important, while others said it felt like filler and some things were unnecessary. I felt like they were necessary to not just build up on Ben himself, but the world and the other characters as well. You see the characters, even the bad ones. And one of my favorite characters in this series, believe it or not, was the Conductor. The Conductor was great. This fat dude who's supposed to be this world's Electro, but he's fat, but he is a smart ass. He has a smart mouth. He never shuts up. But when he talks, he brings in the passion so much compared to the other superpower villains in this show. He doesn't want redemption. He's not seeking a normal life. He wants to be a star and everything like that. While the others want their just due, their justice, or just their simple way of life, or somewhere they want to belong. The conductor is different. Now, it makes you wonder, what makes these guys different from Spider-Man? The spider. Why is the spider going through these terrible changes such as they are? And you will find that out as time goes on through the show. And I like that. It's a nice low slow burn. Those people who weren't like, this is only 8 episodes, as is for most streaming episodes. But even with that, I hear some people complaining how it dragged on. But they're not used to watching noir episodes, man. Well, most of them are episodic, most of the times. But to have a drag on series staying focused on a main topic at hand, watching this old Spider-Man trying to get back in the game, trying to pick himself up, then you have these villains who are trying to conspire and find their place in New York, along with the head honcho, Silverman himself. You know, you're dealing with mafias. Is the main thing you're dealing with. Not superpower geniuses or anything like that, like normal Spider-Man. Just guys who want to run their city through an iron fist. That's what you're dealing with this time. And since you're dealing with a very old, washed out Spider-Man, he isn't at on to par. In a way, it reminded me of the movie series Nobody, where a guy who was very good at his job, but he's been off foot for so long to the point where he seems washed out. So that's what we got with this. Exactly what we got. And I enjoy it very much. So much that I want to cosplay this so badly, which I will do. That's right, I am right now looking up material for me to use to cosplay Spider Noir. I never wanted to cosplay a Spider-Man before, never did, even with Miles Morales or anything like that, or even Miguel. But when I saw this, one, it spoke to me. You see, I love the 1950s aesthetic very much. I love the steampunk stuff back in the day as well. That's created for today. But when it comes to this, you know, the suit, the trench coat, the aura, where everyone dressed neat and proper. They wear the hat, they have the coats, the ties, all that things. You know, it's like society had a dress code back in the day that everyone needed to follow and stuff. Unlike today, where everyone just does what they want, which is good, but then it kills, I don't know, the culture that we once had back then. The culture, which missing for a day you were never a part of. It's very interesting. That's how I got with this. But yes, the execution, how everything ended, was very well made. I enjoyed it. Did people wish we had a more action-packed Spider-Man? I can see why they would want that. Then again, it's live action, so they probably didn't have the main budget to do big, cool action fight scenes like you see in the movies, where a movie's mostly 2 hours or more, where this is a full out 8 episodes. You're not going to have that kind of material to go all out. And plus, I hope we do get a season 2. This was great. This is really great. Amazon's been knocking it out of the park with some shows lately, you know. The Tom Clancy series, Fallout, Vox Machina, Invincible, and stuff. Screw the boys. But this, I like this, you know. Now that The Boys is done, and I don't care about the other stuff, this will be my replacement if we get a season 2 of Spider Noir. Because God willing, we need one. So yeah, that's all I got for this one. Tell me, what did you feel about Spider Noir? Did you feel like there should have been more? Was it great? Was it perfect? Was it bad? Just let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell icon. This has been Madcrownxox on Madman, signing out.